Sometimes you miss the old Capcom logo and it just feels great. Speaking of Capcom, we're going to be taking a look at one of Capcom's more notorious Super Nintendo games of all existence. That stars a certain armored-clad hero with a bushy beard of epicness. Not knowing that this is the third encounter of said series, yeah, I kind of think it's been long overdue for a sort of a precursor back to the olden days of Demon's Crest, and for the original hard game, Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Super Nintendo. I kind of figured I wanted to get this one out of the way, mostly due to the fact that I saw ProtonJon play this on the stream. I'm using the US version because it's 60 frames per second. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, 60 frames per second is often the best kind of measure. So, there really is not much to explain. Well, basically, is that Arthur and his princess girlfriend are snuggling up one night in the middle of a bestial tower. All of a sudden, that happens, and the demons have once again stolen the princess. Which makes things a little bit more interesting, because in the last game, the one for the arcade and the Mega Drive version, they outright killed all humans. And in the first one, it was just kidnapped. But anyway, moving on to the first level of the game, the Graveyard. Now, this game gives you a double jump. This is how the game works. Most of the game is based alongside. What's that is based around that. You get armors, which are upgradable, as you can see here. You get the green armor, which is the first upgrade of that one. And then you get golden armors, which is kind of cool. You also find that you have a double jump, but you have no control of where... But you do have no control whatsoever of jumping. So sometimes the frustration is not there when it comes to being hit in certain aspects. It is, of course, you get hit in in certain ways. There are some good magics. There are some good spells, though. Like, for instance, the upgraded daggers, which are basically freaking lancers, energy lancers at this point. But we also have that, and we also now have the golden armor. And these golden armors are basically the summons in this game. And in particular, they can summon different... Each weapon has a different upgrade, and it has its own magic spell. Yeah, get used to that one. This is particularly in question one of the more trickier aspects of this game. Because the armor in this game is ridiculous. And by the way, if you get hit once, you lose the armor, which is ridiculous because there are some real asshole moments in this game. That's for the difficulty. But I already played a difficult game, and it was called Demon's Crest, where literally some of the enemy placements were so goddamn difficult, it's, you know, kind of stupid. But hey, I'm not one to judge. I mean, some people say that yes, there are harder games out there. I have seen said harder games. I just don't think this is hard. I just think this is Capcom difficulty. But then again, I've been playing Capcom's difficult games for a long time. Some say Super Star Wars is also kind of difficult. That's really not much to say, really. Anyway, we have now come to the point that we have to reach the halfway point. And in particular, we now enter another gimmick for this level. Get used to gimmicks. They are plenty, and this particular gimmick is a nasty one too. If you are not on high ground when the waves kick in, and this is a real dickish move to do so, you'll be swept away. But moving on to the halfway point. When you're at the halfway point, the clock resets back to 5 minutes. And I think the clock's only just there for simplicity's sake, but the levels aren't long. I think the only reason why the game is technically a little bit difficult is because, well, there is a specific surprise as there later. Most treasure chests contain very difficult, it contains enemies that kind of suck. For instance, the Jester can transform magic spells, as it were. You You can also ignore spells, but you also can easily go through other spells. The default is Arthur's Lance, which contains the lightning rod. And now we've entered the first boss, the Cockatrice. And seriously, this is an easy boss. This is tame for an easy boss. Seriously, this boss is pathetic and kind of terrible. It's also real sad that I tend to go through hard games for chits and giggles, and everyone says that it's not so hard. But anyway, you pick up a key, it's worth 5,000 points, and an extra life. Let's move on to world number 2, the wrecked ship. So this is the map of how we're going to go through the underworld. And so we went past the graveyard, now we're moving on to the shoreline. So, I'll give you an example of how not to trigger the if you get hit by that, regardless of what armor form you're in, your different spells. So we're basically just as a girl, it kind of gets a bit difficult. Yeah, this is my original plan was I was playing difficult games from ProtonJon streams, games that he struggled with. So he barely beat Super Star Wars, which I actually got through with ease. This he took 2 streams to beat. Not gonna lie, it took him it took me 2 streams to beat Mega Man 4. But then again, it took me an hour and a half to beat this boss. So there you go. It's a lot of things. I think it's like different strokes for different folks. I gotta say though, Ninja Gaiden is still a bitch. Oh, that's still a hard game. 4.5 fucking hours. Good God, I got fucked over too. Remember that much. Anyway, I can't destroy these chests unless the curse is in them. And then there's the things like that. So yeah, ghosts are the annoying problem, and also these pendulums. The pendulums are gonna be a real dick to deal with, because if you miss time in those freaking the freaking jumps for the pendulums, you will lose armors, and it's often frustration, and it kicks in, and then the salt flows out, and then especially for my good buddy Dan. Dan Enigmas. Cool persons, still is. Anyway, we've reached the raft, and now we've ended the level. And now moving on to the high turbulent seas. Yeah, the journey for this game's a little bit bloody weird. I don't know why I decided to do so, but I thought, I always felt that if you go through the high turbulent seas, it's heading towards the underworld. That's what this game is all about. Because this game has Arthur's got an interesting rivalry against the demons, especially against Astaroth, the boss of the very first game. And of course Necros, who was the boss of the second game. Point this out, but there are some cool features. Grabbing the scythe will allow you to control certain attacks, but you also get the windmill. The whirlwind, as in we reap the whirlwind. Kinda cool, actually. I like that attack. I like it. I always wanted to reap a whirlwind. Jobs, everyone. This is a boring sight for a level part, but there are some difficult moments. For instance, the coral is a nightmare. I would actually say this is Nightmare Coral. And then there's the fish. It's all about that fish. That's really about it. This is actually kind of easy and simple when you think about it. It's heading towards that territory. It just does. This is actually part of a plan, because this was going alongside certain games as well. For instance, Bubsy. Of course, there's Bubsy and frickin' Super Star Wars. Yeah, Bubsy. I can see why no one likes the character. His platforming's a piece of shit, and the gimmicks are so terrible. But some people just madly prefer it, just like a bad case of people. I don't know, it's just my views. But if you're just wondering, yes, I've actually played harder games, and to be honest, I think I would rather go for Demon's Crest again, Because I know that's difficult. And most people, oh, Demon's Quest is not that hard at all. I mean, it's difficult of the freaking headbutt puzzles and stuff. Yeah, secret final boss. Secret final boss. I barely survived him. And I didn't even do it properly either. That's the one thing that pissed me off, is I did not know about the talisman. I did not know about the special power-ups. And I wasn't sure which power-ups I would have used. Yes, it would have been a lot better if I knew. But then again, I wanted to beat the goddamn game so badly. I don't mind that one. Like, there are certain games I do like about certain things. There's not much you can really talk about. I mean, seriously, it's just one ridiculous scrolling level, and I believe we've just reached the boss of World 2. Headed towards the door that leads to the underworld with this waterfall, and we finally have a boss right there. I'm just gonna call this the evil underwater spore creature. Just want to make sure you get the right level. Hit him right between the eyes. The whirlwind does technically help, because, you know, it does a little bit of damage. It does all that. It goes in a specific pattern, which you benefits from that one. They'll also fire frickin' spike enemies. Essentially, this is not too bad, especially when you got the right tools for the job. And that's really it. It's dead, and the first part of this video is complete. Next time on Super Ghouls and Ghosts, the descent to the underworld begins.